You are not prepared. You are not prepared!
This is WoW Crusade. I'm Chris.
And I'm Brandon.
We're going to talk about Botanica and Arcatraz.
Yay.
And these are both still kind of cool because they're in Netherstorm. Yes. It's the second and third of 3 of the dungeons. The first one we talked about last week, of course, Mekandar. But we're going to start off with Botanica. This is the second week. Oh boy. The Botanica is the second week of the Tempest Keep instance, located directly north of the main palace, the Blue Crystal Building. This is also the location of Kel'Thas Commander Serranus. Now this will yield reputation with the Shatar through Exalted. Reputation summary, trash 12, mini boss 90, bosses 120. Full clear is 2,000 rep, and full clear on heroic is 3,000 rep. On heroic mode, you can get 5 Badge of Justice, as there are 5 bosses.
Yeah. Alright, and a little bit of background on this. Since Kel'Thas and his Blood Elves seized Tempest Keep from the Naru, they had quite the time to investigate and find a usage for the technology in it. The Botanica appears to be the satellite chosen especially for this purpose. Here, Blood Elf scientists carry out experiments on the flora and the outland, how Naru technology can be used to create and manipulate living beings, and how all of this can grant the Blood Elves new powers. It seems, however, that the results are not quite as expected, and thus some of the experiments have gotten out of control. Now,
some tips, because I know some of y'all like the tips. Sorry. Anyways, try to have your group fully prepared. Everybody should read the boss killing strategies, otherwise you'll find yourself taking too much time to kill bosses. Like for the second boss, High Botanist Freywin, which really requires your group to fully understand what to do, why too much time. If you die and have to return, you might find yourself with respawns all up until the first boss. Bosses will not respawn. I just moved the thing, yeah. Near the start of the instance, there are some mobs named Blood Hoarder Menders. If you mind control these Blood Hoarder Menders, you can buff your casters with Holy Fury, a 295 plus spell damage buff that lasts for 30 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, dude, it was always fun to have a priest do that and give you that buff, especially if you're a mage. Oh, or if you're a boomkin. Oh, dude, it's so fun because that extra spell power, you just get stupid.
Oh, I bet.
And then you can use that character to just go down and use it to fight the other mobs as well.
Oh, really?
It's great. Yeah.
Now, this is handy to get through the first part of the instance at a faster pace. As the Blood Hoarder Menders buff themselves with it, mages can also acquire the buff by using Spell Steal.
Yep, and I did all the time.
Well, I bet you did. And you're probably like, yep, got Holy Fury. Yep. Let's kill it. Let's kill stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, it should be known that all the bosses in Botanica are optional. You can fairly easily reach Warp Splitter without killing a single one of them. You will, however, still have to clear a majority of the trash, so this won't save an enormous amount of time. On the other hand, it means that if you're having difficulty with a certain boss, you can give up on him and still continue through the instance. Now, you might want to take some greater fire protection potion for the third boss, so you'll have some protection against his hellfire and give your healer an easier time. Although it can be done without two... What?
Without it as well.
Oh, although it can be done without it too. Yeah, the way I said it made no sense.
Yeah.
Now, as a tank, don't forget fire resistance gear if you have any. A full run is about 2,300 Shatar reputation. That's good to know. Botanica is rich in outlet herbs. For example, a full clear with all herbs gathered produce 1 Terracone, 4 Nether Bloom, 7 Dream Glory, 5 Fellweed, and 4 Motes of Life as bonus drops on herb nodes.
Dude, that's really good, those Motes of Life.
Now, that might be different when you each time you run it. I don't know, but that's just an example. So, there you go.
So, one of these first bosses that you can come across is Commander Serranus. Let's see here. She is a Blood Elf warrior and is in charge of the Blood Warder military in Botanica. She is also entrusted with the Keystone. Her attacks are Arcane Resonance, increases arcane damage taken by 1,200 and this stacks up to 2 times. She does an Arcane Blast. She summons groups of 4 NPCs during the fight. Normal 1 summons at 55% health. That's on normal mode. Heroic, she does it different times. So the strategy for her: Commander Serranus walks back and forth over a bridge. On the right end of the bridge stands her entourage, which consists of Bloodwater Protectors and Sunseeker Stewards. The entourage will pull in groups of 3, 1 Steward and 2 Protectors. It is wise to ensure that the commander is pathing over to the far side of the bridge before you pull. Though this is a pretty straightforward fight, the commander will use Arcane Resonance, the magic debuff, that increases arcane damage taken by 1,200, which she stacks twice and then attacks with an Arcane Damage Blast. It can be dispelled, but she applies it often. If you have a backup healer and a priest, dispel it, as damage is nasty. At 55% health, she will spawn 4 adds that need to be dealt with quickly, 1 elite healer and 3 non-elites. This is the one-time summon event that will not repeat for the rest of the fight. The boss is both tauntable and disarmable. And her loot is as follows. All of the stuff to use is level 70. Librium of the Lightbringer is a relic. Increases spell power of Holy Light by 47 if you equip it. Prismatic Mittens of Mending are Hands Cloth Piece, 97 armor, 23 stamina, 26 intellect. If you equip it, it increases spell power by 29 and restores 7 mana for 5 seconds. Revenger is a one-handed sword with a 71.7 damage per second, 140 top end. It has a chance on hit, steals 105 to 125 life from target enemy. Serranus' Mystic Sheen is a back item, 234 armor, plus 12 to all resistances. Towering Mantle of the Hunt, and that right there, that Mystic Sheen, you will want to find that for every character that you have. That is the best back item in the game for resistance. Towering Mantle of the Hunt. Male shoulder item, 489 armor, 21 stamina, 21 intellect. Increases attack power by 48 and improves critical strike rating by 21 if you equip. And she also can drop the Keystone.
Yep. Alright, now, High Botanist Freywind. Now it's level 72 Elite. Second boss. Appears to be a druid, is probably in charge of the experiments the Blood Elves are conducting on the plants in the Botanica. It seems he is at some point had time to write a comprehensive botany guide. Botanist's Field Guide.
Isn't that for...
It's a quest item.
Yeah, I think it's for first aid.
This item is for the Alchemy Potion Specialization Quest Master Potions. Okay, I was like, yeah, that's not first aid. I was like, yeah, no. Because first aid is at that one place in Hellfire.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, Alchemy. And I never became Master of Potions, so yeah.
Here's what I found.
Hey, Siri decided she was looking up alchemy stuff.
she was helping us out.
Because I was like, what did you just say? It says alchemy on Wikipedia. I'm like, okay. So, anyways, now the spells and abilities Plant red seedling, which summons a red seedling. Plant white seedling, summons a white seedling. Plant blue seedling, summons a blue seedling. Plant green seedling, which, summons a green seedling. I know you're shocked at that last one. Tranquility heals the caster or any allies within radius for 1% of the caster's health for every 2 seconds. And Tree of Life form changes only when channeling Tranquility. Now, the 7 minis are red seedlings, which does Fire Blast. The blue seedlings, which don't say anything. I guess they just hit. Green seedlings, Toxic Pollen, cause the caster to automatically inflict 150 nature damage every 2 seconds to nearby enemies. White seedlings, Bind Feet, slows movement speed by 70%. And Freyr Protector shoots Thorns, ranged attack, 4,000 physical damage. Wow, 4,000 physical damage?
You gotta stay right next to the Freyr Protector at all times.
Yeah. Now, this fight is once engaged, Freywin spawns a small seedling elemental every few seconds. The seedlings have a low amount of health and needs to be killed in order to avoid their special abilities, which vary based on their color. Short freeze, white. Direct damage, red. Root, green. Allocate 1 DPS to deal with them. Anyone with good burst damage can do the job. About every 30 seconds he'll transform into a treant, much like a druid's Tree of Life form, spawn 3 lashers, and start channeling Tranquility, which heals himself and the lashers. When Freywin is in treant form, he is invulnerable and will keep channeling Tranquility. The lashers also deal a thorn attack that hits for around 800 to 1000 damage. Only when all 3 lashers are dead, he will stop channeling Tranquility and return to the normal Blood Elf form. Now, just remember, this fight can go on indefinitely. If Freywin is allowed to continue to heal himself with the lashers, kill them as fast as possible. Now, there are several strategies to deal with the treant form phase. Line of sight. There's a line of sight strategy. There's a fear strategy. A focus fire strategy.
Focus fire strategy is the best strategy to use.
So, I'll tell you about that one. For groups that cannot perform the line of sight strategy properly and do not have fear, it is possible to kill the lashers one at a time, even when they are within Tranquility range. If all DPS focus on one target at a time, it is vital to kill the lashers quickly, therefore preventing the botanist from healing himself out of control. Therefore, this strategy requires good DPS and the ability for everyone to focus on one target, not a recommended strategy, but that's the way we've always done it. So,
yeah, I don't know. I guess the line of sight strategy would be okay, but some people just don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Now, there's some other tips. When the lashers spawn, they enter the fight with no aggro. So a healer topping off the tank or healing as they enter can pull aggro. It is recommended that priest healers use their fade ability when the lashers enter. Paladin healers can divide a shield, blessing, or protection if aggroed. It is recommended that everybody in the party make a quick /assist macro for the same person, usually the tank. This will enable you to all target the same lasher quick and take them down. It can be done without that though. But, first time in there, you might want to try that out. It's pretty cool to actually make your own macros and do that.
Yep.
When he is in normal form, make sure the DPS not dealing with spawns is pumping out as much damage as they can, or else the fight will go on forever. He seems to change into his tree form a lot sooner as the fight goes on, so it's important to take him down quickly. If you have a rogue in your group, you could apply a stack of wound poison to the boss before he goes treant, and it will decrease the amount he heals from 1,000 to 500.
Nice.
Now, the Warlock spell Seed of Corruption is a very potent spell to use in this fight. While it's a mana intensive for the lock, it pretty much takes care of all the small seedlings he sends out, leaving the rest of the group free to DPS down Freywin, and that's what you want since it detonates Seed of Corruption quicker. Cast it on Freeman, and when he detonates, it will almost always kill all the small seedlings that spawns, in addition to damaging him. And there's a heroic mode, but we're not going to talk about that. Now, all this is level 72 equip on his loot. Aegis of Sunburn. It's an offhand shield. It's got 86 block with 27 stamina. If you equip it, it increases defense rating by 19, and it increases the block value of your shield by 29. There's a neck piece called Enchanted Thorium Torque. It's got 27 stamina. If you equip it, it improves your dodge rating by 21, and it also improves hit rating by 16. Cloth Hands, Energis Arm Wraps. It's 97 armor with 26 intellect, 27 stamina, and if you equip it, it increases spell power by 34. Plate Feet. It's got 800 armor with 34 strength, 30 stamina, 2 yellow sockets, and the bonus for that is plus 3 to strength. Plans Earth Piece Breastplate. It's a blacksmithing. And then a offhand fist weapon called Stormreaver Warblades. It's got 71.6 damage per second with 13 stamina. If you equip it, it improves critical strike rating by 21 and increases attack power by 22. And like I said before, it also drops a botanist build guide for alchemists. The quest item for the potion master.
Yeah.
Or master of potions.
Alright, Thorngrim the Tender is the third boss of the Botanica. Sacrifice. He occasionally sacrifices a party member, draining their health over time and healing himself. Can only hit players who are in line of sight, and Thorngrim will not use this ability on his current target. So unless your tank loses aggro, they will never be sacrificed. 0.5 second cast time. The ticks are about 750 per second. About 5k total. It is partially resistible via shadow resistance. He also does a Hellfire, which channels Hellfire at his feet, like Baron Geddon, causing 1.3k damage per second. Can be outranged by the tank. Thorngrim does not use his melee attack while channeling this ability. And Enrage. Occasionally enrages, increasing attack speed by 75%, physical damage by 110%. Thorngrim hits extremely hard while enraged. Before engaging Thorngrim, his room must be cleared. There are 2 pools of the 4 demons and a channeler, although it seems like they pull together. You can actually pull the demons separately if you want until the channeler walks forward towards Thorngrim. Just wait until the buff wears off of them, or you'll be in a world of hurt. There are also 2 stealth satyrs who patrol in the next room as you go towards Lodge. They should be killed before fighting Thorngrim, as you can easily aggro them by mistake if they patrol too close to the boss. We talked about his sacrifice ability, and his enrage, and his hellfire. To keep healers out of line of sight, place the tank in the middle of the room and put the healer behind the boxes to the left of Thorngrim's starting position. The healer should be able to see the tank, but will not be LOS of the boss. But with a single healer, this may help, since then, in theory, they will never be sacrificed. With multiple healers, even if one is not spec'd for it, it is rarely a problem. Thorngrim is normally tanked in the middle of the room, because Hellfire and Sacrifice both mess up melee DPS. Raised DPS makes the fight substantially easier. Really, I've always just straightforward tanked him without worrying about any kind of line of sight. But you can do it either way. His loot is Arcane Netherbands. They're all level 70 to use. It's a finger item, 18 stamina, 18 intellect. It increases spell power by 21 and increases your spell penetration by 15 when equipped. Dreamer's Dragon Staff, which is a staff weapon, 27 agility, 28 stamina, and increases attack power by 92 when equipped. That is a stat pick for a druid for sure. Gauntlets of Cruel Intention. They are a plate handpiece, 728 armor, 30 strength, 25 stamina, improves critical strike rating by 21 when equipped. Drops a pattern Battlecast Pants, which is for tailoring. Ring of Umbral Doom. It is a finger item, 18 stamina, increases attack power by 40 and improves critical strike rating by 20 when equipped. And Runed Dagger of Solace, which is 41.4 damage per second dagger, 24 stamina, increases resilience rating by 21, and increases spell power by 121 when equipped.
Alright, then Lash is the fourth boss. It resembles a lasher. It is located in the second to last large room on the map just before the final boss's room. Sorry, somebody was talking to me. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Now, upon entering the room, a fight can be seen in the center. Feel free to watch, but it's not advised that you get involved if at all possible. The battle can be skipped to proceed onto the final boss, but it may require a Mind Soothe or a Sap on the NPC closest to the door, as well as wall hugging. Now, the abilities, it has two primary abilities to deal with: an allergic reaction, which is a disease that does periodic nature damage and also increases damage taken by 500. Also, the disease can jump to other nearby players. Duration is 18 seconds and it can be dispelled. It also summons adds. 2 level 70 Lasher type mobs with about 5,000 hit points will be periodically summoned to the 2 pedestals near Lash. These will be either Thorn Lashers or Thorn Players, and they do considerable range damage. Lash will also teleport to his original location when he spawns the ads. He's level 72 elite, by the way. Now, the strategy, an ideal group for this fight is 2 range DPS, 1 melee DPS, 1 healer, 1 tank. At least 1 player should be able to cleanse diseases. Now, he'll periodically spawn 2 Lashers and adds and teleports to his original position on top of the platform. Thus, he should be tanked where he spawns. Assign 1 range DPS to kill each spawn and continue business as usual in Lash. The spawns can be of 2 different types. One uses a Mind Flay type attack, another will rapidly throw thorns. All their attacks deal relatively large amounts of damage. They are vulnerable to both Banish and Fear, and the spawns are also vulnerable to Rogue Stuns and Incapacitates. Gouge, Cheap Shot, Kidney Shot. Now, Lash puts the allergic reaction disease on a tank that should be cleansed immediately because it increases the damage that the tank takes. Lash will also randomly change color. When he does this, he'll be resistant to certain types of magic, just like the mobs on both sides of the botanist. The following are the color resistance he can choose to. Now, the blue has frost resistance, so Frost Mage, no. Red is fire resistance, so Fire Mage, no. Green is nature resistance, which, what, Druid, like thorns and stuff?
Yeah.
Black is shadow resistant, so Shadow Priest. And then white is arcane resistance, so an arcane priest mage. Arcane priest mage, yeah. Alright, now, the drops are all level 70. There's a leather feet called Boots of the Shifting Sands. Oh, I remember that. Okay. It's a 201 armor with 30 stamina. It's got a red and a yellow socket. The socket bonus is 3 hit. And if you equip it, increases attack power by 40 and improves critical strike rating by 19. Cloth legs called Devil Stitched Leggings. 136 armor or 28 intellect and 32 stamina. It's got a red, yellow, and blue socket. If you equip it, increases spell power by 29. There's a plate shoulder piece called Spalders of the Righteous. It's got 873 armor with 22 intellect, 22 stamina. It's got a red and a blue socket. If you socket them correctly, it's got a bonus of +3 defense rating. If you equip it, increases defense rating by 20. And it also increases spell power by 15. Leather shoulder called Mantle of Autumn. It is 219 armor with 21 spirit, 22 intellect, 31 stamina. If you equip it, increase spell power by 25. And then a mithril bark cloak, which is the back piece. It's got 78 armor with 32 stamina. And if you equip it, it improves resilience rating by 26.
Yeah, these bosses are fun. And then you have Warp Splinter.
Yep, speaking of fun.
Yeah, the only actual boss that you have to fight in the entire instance. It's a large, Ancient of Arcane, 5th and final boss. His abilities are Spawn Trance. Let's see here. Spawns 6+ treants with 3,000 health under the trees around the area, which slowly move towards the group. They despawn after 20 seconds and heal the boss for the total remaining health of the treants that are still alive. A quarter of his hit points at maximum. He uses this ability every 45 seconds after the first one. War Stomp, 1,000 to 2,500 physical damage. 30-yard range, AoE stun. Increases damage taken by 550, lasts 5 seconds. Arcane Volley, 1,500 to 2,200 total arcane volley attack that hits all targets with from 3 to 5 bolts. Alright, so strategies. Let's see, there's an ignoring ad strategy, which is not smart. Strategy with AoE. Strategy without AoE. Alternative healer friendly. Line of sight strategy. Let's just give you some general information about it, and then you can probably figure out your own strategy. All ranged DPS and healers should get at max range so they can avoid the War Stomp. Warriors can use Berserker Rage to not get stunned. He can be reset by walking back onto the bridge leading into his room from Lodge. Be careful not to pull him too far back while fighting, or you may reset him unintentionally. The arcane volley can be avoided by clever positioning of the DPS. If he is turned around and his back faces the group, those directly behind him will not get hit. People off to the side in the grass will still be hit. It may be possible to avoid the volley by standing underneath the trees, but still within range. In the grove to the left as you cross the bridge. Apparently War Splinter doesn't want to risk blasting his own grove with the volley, but will zap anyone on the path leading to the bridge. He is vulnerable to the healing reducing effect of a wound poison, aim shot, and mortal strike. You can ignore the ads and just do as much damage as you can. They're going to heal him. You can do an AoE strategy. What I do is at least kill 2 of the ads. Try to kill 3, but they don't have much health. They only have 3,000 health. So you can, and they're up for 20 seconds. So you can blast them down pretty quick. And then similar to Tabarok in the Mana Tombs, who can be mined after kill, Herbalist with a high skill in herbalism can skin Warp Splinter for additional herb drops. Alright, so he drops let's see, a ton of stuff. All of it's level 70 to use. There is a pattern white mint hood for tailors. Bangle of Endless Blessings is a trinket. Increase your spell cast. Your spell casts have a chance to allow 15% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting for 15 seconds. Use increases your spirit by 100 plus 130 for 20 seconds. Jagged Bark Pendant is a neck item, 26 agility, 15 stamina. And equipping it increases attack power by 30. Nether Fury Cape is a back item, 78 armor, 19 strength, 19 stamina. It improves crit rating by 21 when you equip it. Incanter's Robe is a chest cloth piece, 156 armor, 24 stamina, 22 intellect, 22 spirit, 2 yellow, 1 red, and if you socket it correctly, you get 4 intellect. Equipping it increases and improves critical strike rating by 8 and increases spell power by 29. Warp Infused Drake is a chest cloth piece, 156 armor, 28 intellect, 27 stamina, red, blue, and yellow sockets. No socket bonus. Increases equip and it improves hit rating by 12 and increases spell power by 30. Warp Scale Leggings, leather legs, 256 armor, 32 agility, 31 stamina. Equipping it increases attack power by 56, and improves your dodge rating by 21, and improves hit rating by 14. Moonglade Cowl, leather headpiece, 237 armor, 13 spirit, 8 agility, 25 intellect, 24 strength, 18 stamina, a blue and a meta socket, no socket bonus. Equip increases spell power by 28. Beast the Lord of Curus is a male chest piece, 782 armor, 20 intellect or 20 agility, 50 stamina, 2 red, 1 blue socket. Bonus is 4 agility. Equipping it increases your critical strike rating by 20 and increases your hit rating by 10. Tide Fury Helm is a head mail piece, 530 armor, 31 stamina, 26 intellect, yellow and a meta socket. Socket bonus is 4 intellect. Equipping it increases spell power by 32 and restores 6 mana per 5 seconds. Warhelm of the Bold is a plate headpiece, 946 armor with 22 agility, 24 strength, 23 stamina, a blue and a meta socket. Socket bonus is 4 strength and increases defense rating by 20 if equipped. Warp Staff of Arcanum, 63 damage per second, 38 intellect, 37 stamina. Equipping it improves hit rating by 16, improves crit strike rating by 26, and improves spell power by 121. Great Sword of the Forlorn Visions, two-handed sword, 93.3 damage per second, 26 strength, 28 stamina. Chance on hit, protect the bearer against physical attack, increasing armor by plus 2,750 for 10 seconds. Warp Splinter's Thorn, one-handed dagger, 71.5 damage per second, 16 agility, 13 stamina, improves hit rating by 15. And in heroic, I think it's heroic only, he drops the primal map. And he also can drop the top shard of the Arcatraz.
Does he have a chance to drop a lot or what?
No, that's his heroic drops and his normal drops as well.
Okay.
It just doesn't differentiate, so I just told him all of them.
Well, I think on the heroic it drops a definite heroic and possibly one or two of the blue items. I think that's what those are for. I think that's why they do that.
Yeah.
But okay, that's all for Botanica. Now let's talk about Architrazz. Now this is the third wing of Tempest Keep, and it is a prison where the Naru jailed the most terrifying and dangerous creatures they encountered on their journeys. Among the inmates of the Arcatraz are the Aegis of the Black Dragonflight, demons of the Burning Legion, and even servants of the mighty old gods. When Kel'Thas and his followers took the keep, he sent a warden and guards to the Alcatraz. Kael's blood elves, however, were corruptible, and the prisoners have begun to break free. Access into the Alcatraz obtained through one of these Access into the Alcatraz is obtained through one of these methods. Using a key. This requires completing a quest chain that includes completion of both the Mechanar and the Botanica, and begins with a long quest chain called Consortium Crystal Collection from Netherstalker Kaiji in Area 52. Lockpicking by a rogue with a lockpicking skill of at least 350. A blacksmith that can use a cobalt skeleton key to unlock the door. A titanium skeleton key will also work. An engineer can use a elemental Sephorium charge to blast open a door. That sounds like the baddest one of all, yeah. And then mages can also stand outside the locked doorway and use their blink spell to jump through the locked doorway without the need for the key. Note, this may have been fixed. So, Now, only one member group needs a key. However, unlike other locked instances, the door cannot be opened from the inside. And leaving the instance, either by walking out, logging out, or dying and releasing, will require the door to be unlocked again in order for you to re-enter. Sorry, lost it. Okay. Now, as with the other Tempest Keep instances, every member group needs a flying mount or flying form if a druid to reach the instance entrance. If you cannot fly, you may be summoned by a Warlock instead, but they're talking about fixing it where Warlock cannot do that.
Yeah, they're changing it.
The minimal level 2... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I was just going to say, Warlocks won't be able to use their summoning spell at all anywhere in this zone.
Oh, Nether Storm at all?
Yeah, at all. They won't be able to use it at all.
Ooh, ouch. Now, the minimum level to enter the instance is 65. One full run yields about 1,800, and one full heroic run yields about 2,500 reputation with the Shatar. Note that entry to the heroic version of Alcatraz, Mechanar, or Botanica requires the Warp Forge key. No, I have that, and I totally forgot what it was for. Now I know. The Arcatraz is probably one of the only areas in the game with Minari and Radar trash bombs. In name and in function, the Arcatraz is a reference to Alcatraz, the island prison near San Francisco, California.
Yay. Alright, the first mob, or the first boss that you come across in this instance is Zaraketh the Unbound. He's a skinny Voidwalker in Tempest Keep. His attacks are melee. Zarak's melee attack is a shadow damage with 1,300 base damage. Void Zone. Zarak spawns Void Zones randomly around the room. Void Zones deal approximately 1,000 damage, so don't stand in stuff. Seed of Corruption. Zaraketh casts Seed of Corruption on a random target. Can be held by rogues, Cloak of Shadows. Mages can ice block it, and paladins can device shield it. If you get Seed of Corruption, just run away from the group so you don't blow up on them. And Shadow Nova. Zaraketh casts a large radius Shadow Nova, which does about 2,200 to 2,300 shadow damage, and has a massive knockback. The Nova can be avoided by line of sight, and has a casting time, so if your position allows for it, your DPS can avoid it on any of the irregularities on the wall. Alright, so the fight is very simple. Stay away from the Void Zones. Seed of Corruption can be killed through, although this is rarely an issue. If you get the Seed of Corruption, move away from the rest of the group to avoid unnecessary damage to party members. Also, don't stand near people with the debuff. In normal mode, ranged DPSers can avoid the Shadow Nova by being at max range, which is 34 yards. It is advisable for the main tank to tank the boss with his back to a wall and just move up and down the wall as the Void Zones appear. This is to avoid getting knocked out of range of heals and when Zaraketh does his knockback. Ranged DPS and heals should stand behind the column on the northeast side of the room. When Zaraketh casts Shadow Nova, move behind the column out of line of sight to avoid the Shadow Nova. The Void Zones tend to be spawned underneath random players in the party, including the main tank. Everyone needs to be wary of them. Valid targets for Void Zones also include totems and pets. If at all possible, spread pets and totems out. Totems are immune to the Void Zone damage. Having shadow resistance on the main tank on this fight makes the boss a lot easier. A 300 shadow resistance, the combat log showed the main tank taking 300 to 500 damage a hit, with roughly 1,100 to 1,300 resisted. This set can consist of any armor class, just like the Pandemonium's fight. Note, Zaraketh is one of the rare Burning Crusade 5-man dungeon bosses that is optional. He can be easily avoided by simply staying on the right side of the room and moving up the ramp to the rest of the instance. You don't want to do that because he's fun. His loot consists of a back item, 78 armor, 18 spirit, 16 intellect, 12 stamina, increases spell power by 22. All of these are level 70. Idol of Feral Shadows. It is a relic. Increases periodic damage done by rip by 4 per combo point. So have fun with that, kitty druids. Mana Spear Shoulder Guards. Shoulder cloth item, 117 armor, 17 spirit, 26 intellect, 23 stamina. Equip increases spell power by 29. Outland Striders are male feet, 448 armor, 18 stamina, 24 intellect. Equip increases attack power by 50 and improves critical strike rating by 21. Rubium War Girdle is a plate waist piece, 655 armor, with 31 strength, 29 stamina. If you equip it, it improves critical strike rating by 18.
Alright, now, Wrath Scryer Socothrates. Socothrates. How do you say that?
Socothrates.
Okay, however you say it. He's a level 72 elite. He's a Wrath Guard and the second boss of Arcatraz. He is one of the few non-dual wielding Wrath Guards. A battle with him can also be done after Aoe the Doomsayer, which is advisable, but if you're very, very unlucky, you might get kicked into her. Oh yeah, so yeah, you definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So his attacks and abilities: Fell Immolation, roughly 425 fire damage per 3 seconds, only affects melee range. Charge and Flame Wave will knock back everyone to melee range, then charge a random party member, leaving behind a wall of fire. Flame Wave, which deals about 2,000 damage a second, so move out of it and spread out. So, run away, little girl, run away. Get out of the flame.
Yep.
Fellfire Shock does a flame shock, which does about 2,000 damage on hit and ticks afterward for fire damage. Cannot be cleansed. So remember that. Now, this strategy: be sure all of the invisible skulking witch units in the room have been killed. There are normally 2. Before you pull either Aoe the Doomsayer or Wrath Scryer Socothrates. Warlocks can use detect invisibility on the party, or a mage can cast invisibility on themselves to pull the demons. A hunter's flare can also be used to reveal the invisible units, though this is difficult due to their unpredictable positions. Everyone should attack the boss. Be sure to cleanse the flame shock if possible, and spread out to minimize damage from the fire trail left after charges. Use some fire resist gear for the melee characters. Shortly before the knockback charge Flame Wave comes, he gets a buff labeled Knock Away. It is visible via Detect Magic, but can also be detected with add-ons like Spell Alert, giving you a slight warning beforehand. It is advisable not to stand behind each other, but rather next to each other in a kind of half circle, because if you stand in front of somebody and he charges at this somebody, you will inevitably stand in his flame wake. And knockback and charge does not drop aggro generated. There's more for heroic, but I'm not going to get into that. And then talks about tanking with Wrath Scryer Socothrates. But I'm not going to talk about that. If you're tank, you should be looking this up anyways. Alright, now, normal heroic drops loot. Let's see, the Crossbow. Emberhawk Crossbow. It's got 66.3 damage per second. It's, all these are level 70 to equip. This one, if you equip it, increases attack power by 14 and it improves critical strike rating by 18. Gloves of the Unbound. It's leather hands with 27 agility, 20 stamina. It's got a red and a blue socket. The socket bonus is plus 3 resilience rating. And if you equip it, increases attack power by 38. Ringo's Band of Ingenuity. It's a ring, so it's a finger piece with 14 intellect and 12 stamina. And if you equip it, it improves critical strike rating by 14 and increases spell power by 25. The Sleeper's Cord. It's a leather waist piece, 164 armor. It's got 21 spirit, 24 intellect, and 18 stamina. And if you equip it, increases spell power by 28. And then the last piece is a two-handed mace called Warball of Infused Light. It's got 93.3 damage per second. It's got 20 strength, 30 stamina, and 28 intellect. It's got a red, yellow, and blue socket. The socket bonus is plus 5 spell damage. And if you equip it, it improves critical strike rating by 21.
All right, and then it's funny that before you pull these guys, because her and him sit there and argue back and forth. So it's pretty good. It's pretty funny. But she is Delilah, the Doomsayer. She's a female Shavara demon and the third boss of the Arcatraz. Either way, how you do it. Her attacks are Whirlwind. She does it quite often. Just get out of melee range. Ticks rapidly for 3k. Heal. Directly after the Whirlwind, she casts a heal on herself. Long cast time and interruptible. So right after she does Whirlwind, if you can kick, if you have any kind of interrupt, just interrupt it because she goes directly into the heal. We'll talk about that in the strategy. Rogue's mind-numbing poison as well as wind poison works here. Gift of the Doomsayer. Caster will be healed when the cursed player is healed. Alright, let's see. Whirlwind and heal. After about 30 seconds into your attack, she'll do a whirlwind attack. At that time, all melee attacks and main tank need to clear her whirlwind quickly to avoid getting hit for about 1800. After her whirlwind attack, she'll break into a 2-second heal. At this time, rogues should kick, mages counterspell, warriors can intercept and shield bash or pummel, druids can feral charge, and shamans can wind shear. She is immune to, however, to any effect that will silence her, stun her, incapacitate her, or otherwise any normal effect that most bosses are immune to. To increase the chances of interrupting her heal, Curse of Tongues can be used to increase the casting time of her heal, allowing for easier interruption. However, it is a high chance of being resisted and may not be worth trying to be on. Get to the Doomsayer. Periodically, she will cast a debuff on the party member of the highest on her aggro list. The debuff icon looks similar to Shadow Protection buff, but with a red box. The debuff description reads, chance to heal enemy target when healed. Any method of gaining HP, such as direct heals, heals over time, potions, or Earth Shield, make sure when you begin the fight that if you have a Shadow Priest, Vampiric Embrace is not active for this reason. The Priest Shield does not trigger the debuff since there's no HP gain. Affected party members should right-click on it and remove all still active HOTS. It is possible to keep the target alive with the Priest Shield. Another method would be the tank targets a group member prior to receiving a heal. As a debuff, heal the tank's target. A theoretical sound method, but not very useful practically, as it requires very good coordination between the tank and the healer, and even if done correctly, the tank's threat regeneration suffers. Therefore, it is easier to simply out-DPS this heal. Delilah has no mana. No mana leech ability will work through previously, so this was a viable strategy. Rogue's Wound Poison and Under's Aim Shot and Arms Warrior's Immortal Strike will make a great impact on the amount that is healed. This, as well as the aforementioned Whirlwind and heals, can be wind sheared by shamans to prevent them from being cast. Feral druids can use Feral Charge while in Dire Bear form to interrupt this heal on normal and heroic difficulty. So her loot. Lamp of Peaceful Repose. Held in the offhand, 18 intellect, 16 stamina. Equip increases spell power by 19 and restores 6 mana per 5. Everything is level 70 to use. Nethercore's Control Rod. It is a wand, 129.4 damage per second, 10 intellect, 9 stamina, improves hit rating by 8, and increases spell power by 13. Reflex Blades. Fist weapon, main hand, 71.7 damage per second with 13 stamina, increases attack power by 32, and improves hit rating by 16 if equipped. Thasia's Self-Correcting Gauntlets. It is a hand's plate piece, 728 armor, 16 strength, 35 stamina, increases defense rating by 18, and increases your block value of your shield by 39 when equipped. World Fire Chest Guard. It is a male chest piece, 652 armor, 32 intellect, 33 stamina, improves critical strike rating by 22, and increases spell power by 40 when equipped. Also drops the pattern White Men to Pants, which is a tailoring pattern.
Woohoo. Alright. Warden Melakar. It's a level 72 to 73 elite blood elf and a key NPC of the Arcitraz. He appears to be under the control of Harbinger Skyris, as he refers to him as "O Great One" when he releases him from his cell. Skyris kills him once released. He was apparently dispatched by Kel'Thas to keep what was in Alcatraz under lock and key. Now, the encounter, Warden Melakar will not actually fight you himself. He spawns 4 bosses, one at a time. However, they are on a time limit, so they must be killed quickly. If you kill them fast enough, you will have time to drink before the next one is released. The last wave is Harbinger Skyris, so make sure your party is prepared to fight him. Millhouse Metastorm is spawned before the second wave to help aid you. If your wipe is certain, you may run out of the room to reset the encounter. If you do wipe on this encounter, Warden Melakar will respond within a few minutes. Forcing the reset will cause Warden Melakar and any active mini-bosses to despawn and thus force Warden's respawn timer to begin, so unfortunately you will need to wait. Now the first wave, Blazing Trickster or a Face Hunter, and then the second wave will be Millhouse Metastorm that will help you. The third wave has a possibility of Icarus Lightning Waker or Sulfuron Magma Thrower. The fourth wave has a possibility of Blackwing Draconar or Twilight Draconar. And the fifth wave is Harbinger Skyris. Oh, no loot, by the way. No strategies, no loot, nothing.
See, that's what's crazy, because Harbinger Skyris, after you just talked about that, Harbinger Skyris, his first orb is Blazing Trickster or Face Hunter.
I'll talk a little bit about Harbinger Skyris. Level 72 to 73 elite. He's one of the Karaji titles that the Naru kept locking up within the Arcatraz. He is a servant to old gods, and he seeks to usher in his master's vision of conquering all the worlds in the universe. His plans were surprisingly rewarded when he was picked up by the Naru. He must have corrupted Warden Melakar into releasing all the prisoners in the Alcatraz. Now, Skyris uses the same model as the Prophet Skyrim and appears as the fourth and final mob of a multi-wave encounter. The encounter is begun by engaging Warden Melakar. The Warden will in turn open the 4 orbs along the walls of the room and finally wake up Skyris. There are 2 different varieties of each mini-boss. If the mini-bosses are killed quickly enough, there's time for regeneration out of combat between them. The encounter can be reset by running out. After a certain wait time, Melakar will respawn just like after a wipe. Many of the mini-bosses, as well as Skyris himself, are based on classic World of Warcraft raid bosses. Alright, now I'll talk about the four orbs and I'll let you do it. At first, on the first orb, either a Blazing Trickster or Warp Stalker will spawn. With the Blazing Trickster, a level 70 elite imp, which will shoot firebolts at random party members and occasionally use Weakened Soul debuff. The damage isn't great, he doesn't have a lot of HP, so should be nuked down fairly quickly. Or it does the Face Hunter, which is fairly simple, except he has a blink move that randomly moves him across the map, so the tank has to be on his toes about grabbing aggro back, especially if the Warp Stalker gets to a healer. Using good hate-controlled techniques, waiting for tank to put on several thunders before beginning DPS, and this fight should be over quick. The second orb is Millhouse Metastorm, and he's a helpful NPC. He's great help, and when he's released, he will drink and buff himself and then join the fight. He deals substantial DPS. The third orb, this spawns either Sulfuron Magma Thrower or Icarus Lightning Walker. Now, Sulfuron Magma Thrower, it's got low melee damage. It's got a rate of fire. People need to move out of it. So, run away, little girl. Shadow Bolt, and 1 minute curse debuff that reduces healing by 50%. Or, Icarus Lightning Waker will spawn, which nature damage AoE for about 1100, range greater than 41 yards, so hard to keep outside of it. A single target debuff or curse that doubles damage taken. Self debuff that halves damage taken magic. Mages can spell steal it and will take half damage from his AoE, and is immune to nature damage. Clear the curses, the spell debuff on a mob, and this boss is a pushover. Elemental shamans in the group should move to assist the healer. And then the fourth orb. The last mob before the boss is a Twilight or a Blackwing Draconar. Now the Blackwing Draconar, he's immune to fire damage, moderate melee damage, an AoE blast wave for 3k to 8.8k with knockback, and it's a large radius. It's mortal strike that hits for 1500 and lasts 6 seconds. Only the tank should be taking damage from the blast wave, as all other melee DPSers should wait until the first blast wave before engaging it, and then disengage after 15 seconds or so until the next one. Range damage dealers should stay at max range to avoid it. Unless you have very high DPS group, unless you have a very high DPS group that can burn him down quickly, you will not be able to kill him before Harbinger Skyris appears. Now, there was a bug, I don't know if it's fixed. If your main tank tries to take Blackwing Draconar up against either side of the wall of the room, there's a chance that the boss will evade bug when the tank is knocked into the air from a blast wave knockback, causing Blackwing to regain health 48% instantly. This is caused due to the small wedge about halfway up the wall that the tank may land on during his fall. In the Twilight Draconar, this mini-boss is a form of time-lapse that incapacitates the tank for a few seconds. He has fair magic resist to all schools. He also does random brood powers similar to those of the Draconids in Blackwing Lair. Blue is spell casting time slowed. There's a bronze. The red has fire damage dot. Black, and there's a green. The abilities: Mind Rend, random targeted, channeled, stun for 3 seconds, ticks every second for 1,250 damage, 1,600 on heroic, resistible and considered a stun to the full effect, can be removed by stun removing items, and abilities cannot be dispelled. Dominate, mind control, not dispellable. If used on a rogue, a controlled Cloak of Shadows will break the effect prematurely. If used on a mage, he may polymorph your healer for the full 50 seconds. Fear, single target, usually casts on a random non-tank target in the melee range, but will hit the tank and cause aggro drop if there are no other players in melee range. It's dispellable, considered a magic effect. And then Clone, produce a weaker duplicate. Occurs at 66% and 33%. Both clones can be up if you don't kill them fast enough.
Alright. After that, Skyris will appear. He behaves much like Prophet Scarum from the Temple of Arcatraz. The clones have less hit points and a somewhat reduced set of abilities. They have a normal non-stunning Mind Flay, which deals less damage than the original. However, if Skyris and the clone both use their Mind Flay or Rends on the same person, that person will most likely die. Healing is the key to this fight. Secondary healers should wear their best healer outfit. The job of the backup healer is to keep Millhouse alive and to make sure the main healer survives when he's affected by the Mind Flay. How to do our Skyris abilities. Skyris clones, be sure that the party leader places a random icon on the original boss so the copies are easily identified and killed ASAP. Random target Mind Rend. This deals a total of about 3,750 damage. This attack hits for a total of 4,800 in heroic. If the healer is hit, an off healer can be a great help. Mind Control lasts 6 seconds. Mind Control cannot be dispelled, but Cloak of Shadows will break the effect. For second players, can also use Will of the Forsaken, Racial to break free of Mind Control, untested in heroic. Shadow Protection buff is helpful to resist or break the Mind Control early, as well as the Mind Flay. A Warlock's Fell Hunter pet can use the Devour Magic on Fears, Mind Control Rends, and Mind Control debuffs. Mages can blink or ice block out of the Mind Flay, minimizing the damage they take. A rogue in melee range will attract every fear and many mind controls. Conscientious rogues will equip their PvP trinket and use it early in the fight to absorb as much CC as they can. Bear in mind that Cloak of Shadows can be used by Skyris while you are mind controlled and break the effect early. Hunters, make sure to get a snake trap out. Skyris will mind flay the snakes, saving you a few mind flays and making it easier on your healer. Alright. He has some loots. Breastplate of the Bold. Plate chest piece of 1,164 armor. 21 agility, 23 strength, 33 stamina. 2 red, 1 blue socket. 4 defense rating for the socket bonus, and if you equip it, it increases defense rating by 19. All items are 70 to use. Choker of Fluid Thought is a neck item, 17 spirit, 17 intellect, 15 stamina, and increases spell power by 19 when equipped. Doomplate Chest Guard, 1,164 armor, 30 strength, 27 stamina, 2 red, 1 blue sockets. Socket bonus is 4 crit rating. It improves critical strike rating by 19 when equipped. Elemental Band of Sentry is a ring, 24 stamina, increases defense rating by 20, and increases your dodge rating by 19 when equipped. Hallowed Crown is a cloth headpiece, 127 armor, 12 stamina, 24 intellect, 26 spirit, a blue and meta socket. It has 4 spirit if socketed correctly. Increases spell power by 30 if equipped. Helm of Assassination is a leather head item, 25 stamina, 237 armor, 1 yellow, 1 meta socket if socketed correctly, 4 dodge rating, improves critical strike rating by 25, and increases attack power by 66 if equipped. Hood of Oblivion, 127 armor, head cloth, 32 intellect, 27 spirit, blue and meta socket if socketed correctly, 5 spell damage, increases spell power by 40 if equipped. Hungering Spine Ripper is a one-handed dagger, 71.7 damage per second, 13 stamina, improves critical strike rating by 16, and increases attack power by 30 if equipped. Lamp of Peaceful Radiance, held in the offhand, 14 intellect, 13 stamina, improves hit rating by 12, improves critical strike rating by 13, and increases spell power by 21 if equipped. Shafar's Nexus Horn, Trinket, improves critical strike rating by 30, chance on spell crit hit, increases your spell power by 225 for 10 seconds. Sigil Laced Boots is a feet cloth item, 107 armor, 18 intellect, 24 stamina, red and yellow sockets. Improves critical strike rating by 17 and increases spell power by 20 if equipped. Tide Fury Chest Piece. Chest mail item, 652 armor, 28 stamina, 22 intellect, 1 blue, 2 yellow sockets. If socketed correctly, it's 5 spell power. It improves hit rating by 10, increases spell power by 36, and restores 4 mana per 5 seconds if equipped. Also has a chance to drop a Primal Nether.
Alright, so next week we're going to do Blade's Edge Mountains, which you actually have to go through Blade's Edge to get the Nether Storm. We just kind of skipped it, but hey, doesn't really matter what order we really go into. But we're trying to go in order, but you know.
So, you guys enjoy listening,
yeah.
So.
And there's no dungeons in here, so it'll be a quickie. So, until next week, have fun playing game.
As always.
This show is brought to you by Heartland Production Entertainment. If you'd like to help to make the show better, go to patreon.com/heartlandpae.